I want to invest in young people. That's how America builds a real future.
What we're going to do today is there's a lot of questions that folks have sent in. If you could say 3 things that you want women to know that you've done to advance women, what would those be?
I got childcare funding increased by just a smidge under 90%. It's the biggest increase we've done in history. I have taken to the floor of the Senate to fight to prevent defunding Planned Parenthood. And something I'm deeply proud of is how many young women that I encountered in my classes in law school that I pulled into teaching and helped them launch their teaching careers, pulled into government service and helped them launch their government service careers, helped them get a start in jobs that are really hard.
What are the 3 things you'd like to say that you commit to do for women that they can hold you accountable for?
Oh, I like that part. So the first one is, I want to pass a 2-cent wealth tax. This is a tax on people with fortunes above $50 million. That's the top 0.1% in America. Guys, you got to pitch in 2 cents and invest in an entire generation of young Americans. I want to invest in young people. That's how America builds a real future.
If you could have dinner with one living woman who inspires you, who would it be and why?
Oprah. Here is a woman who started of such modest means and just scratched it together out of pure grit.
Women right now, as you know, earn on average about 82 cents on the dollar that a white man earns. Of course, unless you're a black woman, if you're a Latina or Native American, it's so much less. So what can you say to women that you would do to finally address the problem of equal pay?
Enough is enough. You've got to be willing to put out the data on who's getting paid what. And you've got to be willing to do it by gender and by race and to make those data publicly available.
Who's your favorite person to follow on Instagram?
Oh, yes, it's Jonathan Van Ness. He is so adorable. Oh, yes.
Okay. I have to add that. Okay.
Oh, you've got to add him. Have you not been following him?
I haven't. Oh. You know all about this, the maternal mortality rate?
Yes.
It's rising in the U.S. And of course, it's at epidemic proportions for African American women. So what would you do to address this problem?
So I want to collect the data on this. And I want the hospitals to have to report. I want the doctors to have to report. I want to make sure everybody's got real resources that they need and that there's accountability on the other end.
You've been traveling all over campaigning. What was your most starstruck moment on the campaign trail?
Oh, John Legend. Whoa.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I'm just saying.
Did he sing or?
No, he just talked and I just melted.
And just looked deep into your eyes.
Exactly.
And yes. How does your identity shape this presidential campaign?
All of my life about teaching has been about what's happening to hardworking people in this country. Why is America's middle class being hollowed out? Why is the path for families who work hard, why is the path so much rockier and steeper? This has been the center of what I've worked on. I always thought I would do this as a teacher, but then the fight comes to your door and you can back away or you can jump all the way in. And that's what happened to me. Sometimes the fight is getting more funding for childcare.
Right.
Sometimes the fight is to fry a CEO of Wells Fargo so badly that the guy had to resign. Sometimes the fight is to meet a little girl and say, hello, my name is Elizabeth, and I'm running for president. Because that's what girls do.
If you were to say to women out there in this race where there are so many people running, why should they elect Elizabeth Warren, the next president of the United States?
Because it's time. It's time. And I grew up a fighter, fighting for my family when we didn't have much. Spent most of my life fighting for working families, and I absolutely promise I will fight for you and your family, because understand this, nothing changes so long as we're afraid. This is our moment to choose hope over fear, to dream big and fight hard, because that is how we win.
On behalf of supermajority in Refinery 29. You've heard it here from Senator Elizabeth Warren. Women are now the majority of voters in this country. We have the power to shape our future. The most important thing you can do is go and vote. Thanks.